The Galactic Council's reception hall gleamed with bioluminescent panels, casting soft azure light across the assembled delegates. Mona stood near the refreshment dispensers, her dark hair tied back in a practical bun, observing the alien dignitaries with quiet interest. As Earth's newest cultural liaison, she had arrived on Station Kepler 442 only 3 cycles ago, still adjusting to the peculiar gravity and the endless diplomatic formalities. Across the hall, Alberto caught her eye and offered a subtle nod. Her fellow human in the station's chief engineer had warned her about the Velkrina species, known for their aggressive territorial displays and their tendency to view newcomers as threats to their influence. "The human," hissed Kartek, the Velkrin ambassador, his segmented carapace clicking as he approached. His 3 companions flanked him in a practiced intimidation formation. "You occupy space meant for species of consequence." Mona turned slowly, her expression carefully neutral. The other delegates had already begun backing away, creating a circle of empty space around them. She recognized this pattern. She had seen it in predator behavior during her previous work with conservation programs in Australia. "Ambassador Kartek," she replied evenly. "I wasn't aware this area was reserved." "Ignorance is no excuse," the Velkrin spat, his mandibles spreading in what his species considered a dominance display. "Your kind knows nothing of strength. You come from a world of such pathetic conditions that even your own star barely registers as dangerous." The other aliens watched with a mixture of concern and morbid curiosity. Throughout the galaxy, it was well known that the Velkrin settled disputes through displays of physical superiority. Their homeworld's gravity was 1.8 times galactic standard, and they had leveraged this advantage for centuries to maintain their position in council politics. "Perhaps," Mona said quietly, "you should research Earth before making assumptions." Kartek's laugh was a chittering sound that echoed off the crystalline walls. "Earth, a garden world with comfortable temperatures and laughable predators. We have reviewed your planet's classification." From his position near the wall, Alberto tensed. He knew something the Velkrin clearly didn't. Earth's classification had been updated only days ago, but the information hadn't yet propagated through the entire galactic network. "I challenge you." "Human," Kartek announced, his voice carrying across the hall. "Traditional Velkrin dispute physical contest. When you fail, as all soft-worlders do, you will recommend your species withdraw its council application. The Galactic Arbiter, a crystalline entity named Theseral, manifested from the chamber's control node. The challenge is witnessed. Does the human accept?" Every instinct screamed at Mona to decline, to defer to diplomatic channels. But she had dealt with bullies before on Earth. They had teeth, venom, and territorial drives honed by millions of years of evolution. She understood that backing down now would doom humanity's chance at galactic recognition. "I accept," she said. "Standard rules?" "Standard rules," Kartek confirmed, his confidence absolute. "The endurance circle. First to leave loses all." The delegates murmured among themselves as the hall's central platform reconfigured itself into a raised circle, 10 meters in diameter. The rules were simple: stand within the circle while Theseral gradually increased the gravity. The first to step out or collapse would be declared the loser. Mona removed her formal jacket and stepped onto the platform in her simple black tank top and trousers. Her lean muscles, earned through years of fieldwork in extreme environments, stood in stark contrast to Kartek's armored bulk. "This is foolish," Alberto whispered urgently as he approached the platform's edge. "The Velkrin train for this their entire lives." "So do humans," Mona replied with a slight smile. "We just call it living." Theseral's voice resonated through the chamber. "Beginning at 1.0 galactic standard, increasing by 0.1 every 30 seconds. The contest began. At standard gravity, both competitors stood easily. Kartek's companions chittered encouragement while the other delegates watched in silence. Earth's gravity was approximately 0.98 galactic standard, comfortable for most species. Insignificant in this contest. 1.5 standard. Mona adjusted her stance, distributing her weight evenly. Her breath remained steady, controlled. Kartek showed no signs of strain. 1.8 standard. The Velcrin ambassador's home gravity. He straightened proudly, expecting to see the human struggling. Instead, Mona had merely widened her stance slightly, her expression calmed. 2.0 standard. The gallery erupted in shocked whispers. No human should be standing comfortably at double standard gravity. Kartek's confidence finally wavered. Impossible, he hissed. Your world, the records, were incomplete, Mona finished, her voice steady despite the crushing weight. Let me educate you, Ambassador. 2.3 standard. Sweat beaded on both competitors now, but Mona continued speaking, her words measured and clear. Earth sits in the inner band of our star's habitable zone. Our sun throws radiation that would sterilize most garden worlds. Our gravity is actually 1.7 times yours. We share our planet with megafauna that can crush vehicles, microscopic predators that kill millions, and weather systems powerful enough to level cities. 2.5 standard. Kartek's legs began to tremble. We evolved, Mona continued, her own legs burning but stable, in constant competition with thousands of apex predator species. We persistence hunted prey to exhaustion across continents. We learned to survive temperature swings of 100 degrees. We conquered our world not through thick carapaces or natural weapons, but through intelligence and endurance. 2.7 standard. The Velcrin ambassador's breathing had become labored, his armored body beginning to bow under the immense pressure. Earth, Mona said, her voice dropping to barely a whisper that somehow carried across the silent hall, is classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. The classification update was approved yesterday. At 2.9 standard gravity, Curtis' legs buckled. He crashed to the platform's surface with a thunderous impact, his carapace cracking audibly. Medical drones immediately swarmed to assist him as he was dragged from the circle. Mona stood alone at 3.0 standard gravity, her body screaming in protest but her will unbroken. Theseral allowed her to stand there for 5 seconds more, an eternity in the crushing pressure before reducing the gravity back to standard. She stepped down from the platform, accepting a hydration pack from Alberto, who wore an expression of profound respect mixed with concern. Are you injured? He asked quietly. I'll be sore tomorrow, she admitted, her legs shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. But I'll survive. We always do. The gallery had erupted into frantic conversation. The delegates from peaceful garden worlds looked at Mona with newfound wariness. The few other Deathworld species beings from high-gravity, high-radiation planets regarded her with recognition and respect. Ambassador. Theseral's crystalline form pulsed thoughtfully. It seems, the Arbiter announced, that the Galactic Council must reconsider its assumptions about humanity. A species from a Class 12 Deathworld has much to contribute to our civilization, including lessons in humility for those who would challenge them. As medical personnel attended to Kartek, Mona caught the Velcrin ambassador's eye. There was no triumph in her expression, only a quiet certainty. Next time, she said softly, ask questions before issuing challenges. Every human carries their Deathworld with them, in our bones, our blood, and our unbreakable will to survive.